I'm Hannah Nordman for Hot Roster Now. We're at the beginning of another week for your fantasy NBA and NHL leagues, so whether you're at the top looking for some separation, in the middle looking for a boost, or in the basement looking for a chance, there's something for everyone on the waiver wire. So let's take a look at some of your options. First off, here's a guy that comes with an asterisk. If you can handle a week plus-minus at -15, Radim Vrbata should be on your roster. Despite the Coyotes living near the bottom of the standings, Vrbata has found ways to contribute with 9 points in his last 7 games and 4 more shots in his last 6. He's among the top 150 players in Yahoo in performance-based rankings, and he's been the Coyotes' best, leading them in goals, assists, and shots on goal. With ownership in the 10 to 30% range based on your league, he's available to be picked up. Bryan Rust has been hot lately. He's got 2 goals, 5 assists, and he's a +5 with 8 shots on goal in his past 4 games. But his biggest upside doesn't really have anything to do with him. It's the fact that he's playing on a line with Sidney Crosby. Rust said earlier this week that he's starting to learn his teammates' tendencies and that it's helping all of them offensively. There's no reason to believe that's going to slow down anytime soon. I'd take a look at his other line mate Connor Sheary as well for an extra boost. This is your last call for an easy-to-acquire Pavel Buchnevich. With another 22% of players stashing him away, his ownership is officially over the 50% mark. Had he stayed healthy, the 23-year-old would certainly be in the Calder conversation, as he seems to have made a seamless transition from the KHL to the NHL. He's got 14 points in 16 games, and his chemistry continues to grow with Rick Nash and Mika Zibanejad. He's turning more and more heads every week, so if you want him, now's the time to get him. Over to the NBA, Dion Waiters was electric Monday night against the Golden State Warriors. If you haven't seen the celly for his game-winning 3, I'd take a second and Google it right now. If confidence was a category, he'd be maxing it out these days. He became the first player in Miami Heat franchise history with 30-plus points and 5 three-pointers in back-to-back games. And with all the injuries in Miami, he's regularly playing more than 30 minutes a game. With low ownership across all leagues, it shouldn't be tough to pick this guy up and use him as long as Josh Richardson is sidelined. When one man goes down, others are bound to benefit. And in 7 games with Chris Paul sidelined earlier this year, Austin Rivers was the guy who picked up the slack. So it would be no surprise for him to do the same with Paul out 6 to 8 weeks recovering from ligament surgery in his thumb. Rivers averaged over 32 minutes per game, scoring nearly 15 points and 4 assists, and added 1 steal per game with Paul in the sickbay. Compare that with 23 minutes and 35% fewer fantasy points per game with Paul on the court. You've got to pick him up for at least the next month or so. That's it for today, folks. Make sure you join us tomorrow when Cam Stewart digs into some NBA matchups. And for those of you who don't know what Hot Roster is, check it out. Go to HotRoster.com, download the app, give it a try. It's like no other fantasy game you've ever played. And then for help winning the game, check out Hot Roster Today with Cam Stewart and Gary and Thorne every weekday at 4:30 Eastern, only on the Fantasy Sports Network. For Hot Roster Now, I'm Hannah Nordman.